Hey y'all, my name is Briley Casanova and I'm a mental performance coach. I help athletes reach their full potential while working through mental challenges within their sport. For example, I help athletes learn how to perform better under pressure, whether that's learning energy management techniques or relaxation techniques. I also help with goal setting, leadership, maintaining focus, and overcoming fear. My goal is to help others find their inner confidence and self-trust, which hopefully leads to further success and joy in their sport. Let's get started with today's episode. So, of course, we have Sara Toolin here today. She's co-hosting with me. And we're going to be talking about how to prepare for a big competition. I think you wanted some insight from me on how to prepare for your horse show this coming weekend. Is that right?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Today is the last day of May. And next week, and exactly in a week, actually on Friday, I will be leaving for a horse show in Houston. It's going to be the first horse show after a long time.
Yeah.
Because with this quarantine, they blocked everything. And so
a couple months, right?
No, more.
More?
I was...
since last year?
No, my last horse show was in January.
Wow. Okay. So 5 months, almost 6 months.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot to handle coming into a new
That's why I'm here.
New normal. Yeah, that's why
I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah, well, I'll do my best to help. And, we always talk before we record these episodes, but I'm curious to see, I guess maybe what your, maybe not concerns is the right word, but just, what you're wanting to learn and improve on maybe before jumping into the next competition.
Yeah, I mean, definitely I would like to manage the approach to the show. Mm-hmm. And so just tomorrow is Monday and I will have 4 days. So how to approach the week of the show.
Yeah.
And with what kind of mentality, what to work on this week.
Yeah.
Should I just do normal things like I've been doing, or should I just, start this week it's showtime. Mm-hmm. And then what to do during the horse show.
Yeah,
what's
are
your
good
suggestions,
things.
what exercises I should do, but mainly what kind of mentality I should start on Tuesday my training.
Yeah. Mindset, I think if you're watching or listening and you're looking for one thing you can work on, and let's say you're getting back to competition or even just coming back to practice, mindset is everything. I think that's probably the main message that I would share with you. Any client, that's what we're really working on. And that's usually what we're going after when it comes to doubt, uncertainty, just preparation in general for any athletic event,
Fear.
Yeah, fear of even failure, not necessarily fear of doing a certain skill or anything, but just fear of messing up. That's very, very relevant to I think most athletes, if not at least some.
And this type of fear also make you insecure, and so it's there's a lot of things that you have to work on and face, because it's not, it's everybody have fear, everybody's insecure, it's mm-hmm. not something that, oh my god, I'm insecure and everybody else is not, mm-hmm. but you just have to work on it. And it might be, like we were saying, it might be kind of a good thing, because it will make you more aware, and it will make you want to work more and be more you care about. If you think, oh, I got this, and then you're not focused and not concentrate, and you don't give your best because you think you got it. So it's
it's maintaining a balance of how much fear or anxiety or concern is a good thing or enough. I think that's a really great thing that you bring up. So with that, what I would say, let's say that's a question, if you're listening or watching now, what I would tell you is, maybe learn to adopt a growth mindset. And if you don't know what that is, I've written a blog post about it on CompletePerformanceCoaching.com. You can look through the history if you want a more detailed response. But here, the most immediate example I can give you is kind of letting that fear of failure go. And, especially since it's one thing when you're in the middle of a season or you're coming towards the end of a season of your, you know, whatever you're competing in, and like you've done competitions like pretty consecutively or regularly, but since this is like your first one coming back in a long time, I think this is the perfect time to practice that, because you can't just wake up. I know it's easy to say, like, wake up one morning and you just have this growth mindset. No, you have to practice it. And I think what that means is, again, like I said, like, it's letting that fear of failure go and being willing to like take that risk. You have to be willing to fail in order to be successful, I think, too. And I don't think that's something we're taught. I mean, I'm sure, like, I can tell you're a perfectionist, I'm sure, by, like, just by nature, and you want to do well. Yeah. Of course, you know, who doesn't want to do well and win?
Competitive.
Yeah, you're competitive.
Perfection, but I'm really competitive, and I always want to, give the best of myself, and, you know, and win, of course. That's the, you know.
Yeah.
Because I grew up thinking, and they taught me that if you get second, you're the first of the loser. And it's not very encouraging, you know. It's not encouraging at all. That's why I always go with the I want to win, but behind this I want to go and win, there's a fear of failure,
of course.
And so like how to manage that, and don't just deny that, or just, you know, cover it up.
Yeah, like ignore
it, you know. You need to face it, you need to embrace it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like. And
yeah, absolutely. That's what I'd say. And I think maybe if you have a really hard time with that, like if that's really goes against your nature, maybe something like an actual exercise you could do, in like something to challenge yourself with. I think, like, think of a past time where you did fail and you messed up, or, you know, things did not go your way. What did you learn from that experience? That's really, at the end of the day, I think, those who adopt a growth mindset are experts at that. They take away the positive from, you know, the negative things that happened. Whether it was like your own fault or something, just an external thing happened to you, it doesn't really matter. You can always learn from whatever the experience was. And I think maybe that's maybe where you can start. Like, again, if that's really difficult for you to think.
No, because I just thought about it. You know, whenever you said, think of last time you failed.
Yeah.
What happened? I just thought about it. Maybe, you know, one time that I had a good opportunity to win, and then I messed up something, or something happened. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, you know. It's not the end of the world. And you just have to be patient. And because with patience and with the hard work, I always think that the results will come. And so, but that's hard, you know, and you always want to, you know, you want to go and do good, but in 5 years, maybe, you know, you won't remember this show that you did bad.
Exactly.
You will just, you know, it's an ups and downs, you know?
Yeah,
and
of course.
So you have to go up to go a little more down, and then it's going to be a roller coaster going this way, not down, up, it's staying in place.
Right.
You always, so, you know.
Yeah, and I think, you know, of course, going into this week, like, maybe the next thing I would think about for you, and I'm sure you've done this already, but think about the goals you've set, like your long-term goals, your more immediate goals for this weekend, and then your daily goals. Like, how are you approaching each day leading up to the event? You know, I think I might have talked about this with you at some point, I don't remember, but something that I try to think about more now than ever is just get better 1% every day. Instead of trying to do everything right every single day. I mean, the sentiment is good, but like, in order to make it more easy on yourself almost, and more like manageable on the daily, just think about, how can I get better 1% today? What's like one thing I can do today to like push me towards my goals and not take me away from them, you know?
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if like
little steps. Yeah, no, yeah. I tell my students, you know, we always have to do little steps, because we always want the huge change, the huge result,
right.
But it just comes with time.
Yeah.
Results come with, that's why patience is so important.
Yeah, I think, and the little things that you do over time every day, that adds up, and those become really big things.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like another like action step you can take this week.
Yeah.
If that's like a concern for you. Yeah, and one other thing I did want to bring up too, that, you know, is kind of, I want that threaded throughout this entire conversation. I remember you brought up the idea of like, I mean, having fear, anxiety, doubt, just uncertainty, that kind of general feeling. I think what the opposite of that is, and like instead of like you said, like trying to avoid it and just totally discount the fear of failure, like not even acknowledging it, the opposite of that is confidence, which I think you, hopefully from what I can tell, you have naturally a lot of, which is great, and not in a way where it's, you know, cocky or like you're not like aggressive in your face about it, but like yeah, I think you naturally have that. So I think that's maybe something to like know that about yourself this coming week. Like, I just think that that's already such a strength of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes. And I think for the people maybe who going in, like if you don't have that natural confidence, or I mean, we can always get better, right? We can always improve. Course. Like even if you don't have that, or that doesn't come naturally to you. I was telling you about this earlier, but if you guys listened to my discussion on overcoming fear, I did that pretty recently, I think. I talked about the idea of having confidence on a scale. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like nothing, I have no confidence, nothing, I'm not going to do it. You could even just the thought of, you know, whatever is making you nervous just makes you sweat and you shut down. And 10 is like, I'm fearless, I'm like beyond, like it's easy, natural. Yeah.
But that's too much.
Yeah. And so so 10 not necessarily being the most realistic number. I think shooting for like a 6 or a 7 is like a great, maybe just something to think about in the back of your mind this coming week. So
because I feel like you always have to stay humble.
Yeah.
And you know,
sure.
that's really important, because being too confident can play against you.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you can get lazy almost.
Yeah. And so just be confident, believe in yourself, but stay humble, and just don't fear the failure.
Mm-hmm.
And every mistake, it's a lesson. You always learn from mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say,
there we go.
I always say to like my friends, or you know, one of my favorite quotes is, what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Yeah.
So, you know, if
that's
you make a mistake
relevant.
Or if you get a bad competition or something bad, it just makes you stronger because you've learned something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I try and tell my athletes as well. And the fact that you already know that and are already practicing that sets you up for success already. Like, no, it really does. And it's like, that's the funny thing about like sports psychology. I mean, you find that there's a lot of cliches, so to speak, but there's a reason why I think they're cliches. And it's sometimes like, I feel like I say this all the time, like some things are easier said than done. But I think that just goes to show like the power of those, you know, those mental skills or those perspectives or that mindset that we all want, but there's a reason why it's hard to get there too.
Yeah.
So work on like your natural gifts and your natural talents and build those up too.
Build up. Yeah.
Yeah. Build up and improve those. And then, I mean, nothing can stop you, because we all have different like tendencies and different strengths. So just capitalize on what you're already good at. Like, I mean, you have them, like I was just saying, your confidence, you already have that, but and of course you can still improve and get better. And that's only going to make you a better athlete, you know?
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think. So what else, what else are you, thinking about in this coming week preparing? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think, is there something missing, or are you feeling pretty good?
I'm excited. But on the other side, I'm scared to be excited. Should I be excited?
Yeah, I think, and I think excited is a great word, because I think if you're, you know, everyone has a different kind of personality as an athlete, and some people interpret like being nervous as being excited, which that's how I always thought of it. But I think if you're the athlete who thinks that they're just nervous in like the negative way, if you switch that into thinking of, oh, I'm not really nervous in a bad way, I'm just excited, because you're when your body is physically telling you you're nervous, quote unquote, the same like physical reactions that happen when you're nervous are the same when you're excited too. Yeah. So I don't know, like Coach Rebecca, my mentor, uses the example of like going on a roller coaster. You either love roller coasters or you don't like roller coasters, but the same feeling that if you ask, you know, one person who likes them and one that doesn't, the same physical things they describe to you and they think of going on a roller coaster is the same. Like, I feel like I'm going to wet my pants, or I'm going to puke, or I want to run away, or I'm really sweaty and I get butterflies in my stomach. All those same things, happen whether you're nervous in like the negative way or nervous excited. Hey y'all, I'm briefly interrupting this episode to let y'all know about Anchor. Anchor is a free app that lets you create your own podcast for free. It comes with tools that allow you to edit and record your podcast from your phone or computer, which is amazing and so helpful for non-tech oriented people like me. Anchor also distributes your podcast for free, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and even more. You can monetize your podcast too with no minimum listenership. It's seriously everything you need to create a podcast all in one place, and that's why I love using Anchor. Please go download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you to Anchor for making this podcast possible for me.
That I go and I'm gonna win everything, and
like you're not bouncing off the walls.
I'm excited, but there's this nervous little adrenaline.
Yeah.
It's like that I have to do good.
Yeah.
To win, I have the chance to win, but I have to do good, and so it's on me.
Yeah.
And so it just makes me excited.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because at least in sports psychology, things that I've read, like articles. Some people think like you need to be high energy in order to perform well. Other things say, well, maybe not everybody needs to be like super high energy to perform well. So I think if I'm talking to you specifically, I would say like, yourself best and the kind of sweet spot and like how much like excitement or energy that you need to do well because you've been doing this for so long. And, I would just say, and if you're not like Sarah and you think you're maybe different, whatever that means for you, just maybe be more mindful and be aware of like in past successful moments, how much energy and excitement did you have? And maybe think of, again, this is a time where you can learn from your failures. Maybe when you made a huge mistake in the middle of a horse show or a basketball tournament, maybe you were a little too excited and too nervous and you weren't in control of your body as much.
Yeah.
Or maybe your mindset, maybe you needed to kind of come back down and like be a little more calm and relaxed. I don't want to say there's like a right answer because I think everybody really is different and requires different amounts of that. Because I think I was always someone who needed like, if I look calm and chill out, that's good. Like if I got too much energy, like I would wobble, I would fall, like that caused me a little too much.
But that's like, you see me now with a lot of energy, and I'm a very energetic person. Mm-hmm. Also during my training days, I have a lot of energy, and I'm, when I'm on a horse, I'm always very excited and very happy. But at the horse show, I'm a different person. Mm-hmm. I usually don't talk.
Yeah, because you're just focused.
And I look very serious. Not, I look serious and I don't talk, and I usually put my headphones on. And maybe I don't even have music. I just don't want people to talk to me.
Yeah.
And so
that's
especially
okay.
Right before my, my performance, I'm always I need to be in my zone. And so I try to go a little away from everybody because I need to get in my zone.
Yeah.
And so I'm...
And that's a sports psychology term.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's a term. Getting in the zone is a term.
Is it too much? I have to be just more relaxed and hang out with people. And then I feel like I need to be in my zone because... to perform at my best.
Yeah.
And
that works for you.
It does.
My answer is if whatever works for you, keep doing it. Okay. I tell my athletes that all the time. No matter what it is, if it works for you, don't change it. Why would you change it if it were, right? I feel like that's kind of one of those things that's so easily we just think about all the time. Maybe just we overthink it. We think about it way too much. Yeah. But once you've found your formula for what works, of course, keep doing it. And if one day that happens to change, then change.
Yeah.
Adapt. But don't let like your own habits, don't overthink it. If it already works for you, just keep doing it. Okay. And I think that goes with like routines and rituals or, whatever you want to call it before a tournament or a show. Like, if you eat a certain thing and if you think that makes you successful, then do it. As long as it's not hurting you or hurting other people, I think you're fine.
Yeah. I have my meal pre-show, how do you say?
Yeah,
and my meal post-show.
Yeah.
That is like my tradition.
Yeah.
And
that's totally fine.
And it's always involved pasta.
Great.
Yeah.
Pasta's good anytime. I'm a fan of pasta too. That's what I would probably do too. So that's awesome. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I think that's the main message that I would want to share with you.
And so let me ask you. So basically, this week coming for the show, whenever I'm training, I will have to try. I like this. Improve 1% every day. I like that. and just try to keep focus on that I'm being lucky or being confident, and just trying to concentrate on that. Don't worry about the failure. And just at the show, morning usually I do my stretching, evening I do my stretching. What's mentally, what should I do at the show?
What should you be doing? I think really just taking one moment at a time, and we've talked about this before in our past episode of staying in the moment. I think just appreciating the current state of where you are that day, just doing one thing at a time, not getting so wrapped up in I always think avoid social comparison, because you're going to see other people doing things that have no relevance to you. I think you remaining in control of what you're doing that day, you just doing your job, doing your performance, and enjoying it. I think just enjoying each moment, that's something that we don't think or talk about very much as athletes, because of course you're focused on you're focused on what you need to be doing and not looking at other people. But I think just allowing yourself to enjoy it and appreciate everything that day. I mean, it sounds simple, but that's something that, looking back, I think I thought about a little bit to some degree. Does that make sense? Just remembering, that you're allowed to have fun.
Yeah. No
matter what happens, you're allowed to have fun and enjoy your sport, your activity, whatever you're doing, and just taking it just moment by moment.
I like that.
Yeah,
because
that's
usually
what I
don't. Well, I do have fun. It's fun. I have more fun when I win. I have to be honest.
Sure, yeah, that's okay.
But even if let's say I don't win, but I have a good result, I don't feel it right then. Probably I just have a good time then. But it hits me when I go home. When I go home, after when I get out of my zone, it's crazy. Yeah. I feel like whenever then, usually we drive back all together to the barn, and we have the horses with us, and so then we unload the horses, and then when I get in my car to go home, then I just wake up, get out of my show zone, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it just hits you a little later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that just goes to show...
But I should just enjoy it every day.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy the moment, and I had a thought, and I kind of lost it for a second, but I don't know. I guess, if there's anything else I'd say, I've already said take one thing at a time. I had another thought. I'm sorry, I lost it. I was trying to listen to what you were saying so intently. But...
Take one thing at a time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so I just remembered. So the whole 1% thing, I appreciate how you brought that back up. That's the reason why I like the idea of progressing 1% every day is because, in 1 week after this first show you have back, the growing doesn't stop. And that's why I love the growth mindset, because another thing I would probably say to you, and even if you're just generally watching me, no matter who you are and what you're doing, I would hope that you see your sport or your activity as more of a process and a journey than a destination. And maybe that's the other piece of advice that maybe I would ask for you to keep in the back of your head. Because really, and I think that's why I was thinking about the joy, the fun aspect, because it's a journey. It's a journey, and if you focus so much on the result and just on winning, it kind of takes away that joy to some degree. Of course, you feel that joy when you win, but the next day when you're back at practice or your training or whatever, then what do you do with that when that joy goes away? You have to fall in love with the whole process of the sport.
Yes. So I love it. That's true. That's why every time, when I come back from a show, I'm always more excited because I've learned something at the show, even if I won or I didn't win. But you want to practice so at this show I realized that I have to work on this and work more on this, so I'm always excited. The training after the show is the most beautiful part.
I feel so that's such a great attitude to have. And look, I wish I had that. I wish you could tell that to my clients, and because you just phrased that so beautifully, because again, I think that's just one thing that we don't have a good mindset about usually. Like, we don't think about, like, the day after the competition or 2 days after, depending on when you come back to training after you compete. That's so important because it's that idea of, like, yeah, no matter you win or lose, you have to get back to training and you have to keep going. Yeah. Picking up wherever you left off. That's part of the journey of it. It's less of a destination, more about the journey, I think. At least that's how I like to see it. Yeah. If you want, like, continued success, then I think you have to almost.
I almost feel like that's why I miss showing so much, because I almost feel like that with the shows, I get better because I work harder. When I don't have shows, you just don't have, you have your trainer and you have, you see yourself and you want to improve, but the show is really your, like, when you study, you have the exam and then you pass and
it's
you go
what you
up.
work for. Yeah,
and
like
you pass to the next level and then to the next level and to the next level, and it's just a big mountain that never stop, and it's just you have to enjoy the way up. It's just
the view. Yeah, you have to enjoy the whole view, the whole process. Everything in between, the good stuff and the not so good stuff. Easier said than done, of course. I know I say that all the time, but it's just, I think you'll get so much more out of it when you put that kind of thought process into it, Yeah. So, I don't know, those are, like, the main things, I think, if, that I would want to share with you or, whoever's interested in listening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, well, what else? Like, is there anything else that you're thinking about that you'd like to talk about? Or
I love it. No, I mean, I almost want to just get a piece of paper and write some notes.
Sure.
Because
well, you can anytime. You can do that anytime.
Yeah, because
so you're feeling good? You're feeling confident?
I do.
I mean, you seem confident. I think you're going to be great.
Yeah, thank you. But, it's always... I love my job and I love my sport, and so it's I always want to try to do good, and I would work hard every day to try to improve, and so I'm excited because I will give my best. I will give my best, and no matter what will happen, I wanna be the best of myself and try to give my best, and don't think, oh, but if I was, more relaxed, maybe, I just give it all. Yeah. And this is the result. It's great.
Yeah. And that's enough. And that is such a great way, I think, to end this episode. So if you're, a younger athlete listening, or, whoever you are, it doesn't matter. I think that's such a great message and just a great mindset to have in general, and a great approach to life. I mean, you are enough no matter how well you do or how not well you do, I think.
No matter your score, no matter your result, no matter what the judge sees,
right?
If you give your best, that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, and that's all you can do.
That's all you
right?
can
That's
do.
all you can do. And hopefully you leave our episode feeling like you're on a really positive note with that. So no matter what happens, you're decent, you're worthy, you're a great athlete, no matter what happens. But I think you're gonna do great. So
thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, where can we find you, Sara? So to anyone who's watching and listening, where can they find you?
So you can find me on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay. They just search
Sara Sasso Toolin.
Yeah, search Sara Sasso Toolin.
Sara Sasso Toolin Dressage. Or if you want to go on my website, even easier, sarasassotooling.com, and you're going to find all the links to the social media and YouTube page and everything. So,
great. And I'll of course link everything. I'll put it on the video. You'll see it on the screen. I'll put it up somewhere. Everything is, of course, is always listed in the description box as well. So on YouTube and wherever this podcast is distributed, check the little down bar or the show notes, wherever you can find it. I'll put everything down there as well. So I think I'll go ahead and close out today's episode by saying thank you so much for listening, you guys. We really appreciate it. And you can please check out my social media platforms. My name is Briley Casanova. You can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/Briley Casanova. And that's where I tend to post the more exclusive updates, and you can give me direct feedback there. for future episodes. And so you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter as well. My Instagram handle is Mental Coach Briley. My Twitter handle is Mental Coach Bry. I also have a public Facebook group at fb.me/Mental Coach Briley. And Sara and I go live on there all the time together. So I'm sure you'll easily find both of us if you've been following either one of us for any amount of time. But if you want a little bit more of like a private interaction, I don't know if you do this, Sara, but you can also email me at briley@completeperformancecoaching.com if you want to just, I got a beautiful fan email the other day, and that really just made me feel so good. So keep those messages coming. And if you feel inclined, but please don't feel obligated, you can donate to this podcast to support people like me and Sara. We would really appreciate it. And you can Venmo me at Briley Casanova. PayPal is paypal.me/Briley Casanova as well. Feel free to reach out to either of us with questions and feedback that you have, because your input is super valuable and important to us. So please help contribute to our growth and our knowledge. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in our next episode.
Yes.
Yes. Bye.
Ciao.